I'm live. It says I'm live. All right. I'm just testing this out. This is the first time I've done a YouTube live video, and basically what I'm doing this for is just to try it out, see how it works, and see if I'm sure there's nobody logged on right now, but see if I can go to my live video here on my computer and be able to view the comments that come in and respond to those. Oh, look, right there. Live. Okay. Whoa. So there's a little bit of a delay. All right, so I think I need to just mute this. And oh, six watching. There's six people. Hey, how you doing? Hello. Hello. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Oh, I'm sorry, it's 9 right now. And I didn't really think anybody would log on to this. So, hey, everybody, how you doing? Hey, Dustin, how's it going, man? All right, I guess I'm on the spot now. I don't didn't think there would be anybody here. So I'm glad to see some of you here. Um, like I said, this is just a test of how to do this. It looks like I don't have to test very much. I don't see. Oh, here we go. I see comments coming up. Jared, how you doing, Jared? Mary Jane, how you doing? Erica, hi. Do I have my volume on? I think so. Can you hear me? Oh, good. Okay. Dustin, how you doing? D's House of Dank, what's up, man? This is kind of cool. In Maryland. This shit is crazy. Yes, it is. This shit is crazy. Um, Mary, how you doing? Wow, man, I'm on the spot here. I really didn't think that you would all be logging in right now at 9 o'clock at night. Yeah, I'm in my storage area. This is where we stored all of our hats. There's over 13,000 of these hats in the inventory, and I actually did a video earlier today about how they're trying to take my store down. I've worked for years building this up, buying these hats all over the United States, and uh, it's been a lot of work going into this, and they're trying to take it away from me now. I'm trying to read the comments as they go here. I need to put my computer here. I'm going to put my computer up here. I hope you guys can bear with me here. That I'm literally just trying to test this out and get this to work the best way possible. So, hey, Rick James. Yeah, okay, someone's outside your house every time you leave. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about that right now. This hasn't happened to me for about a month and a half now, where there's somebody outside, but for a while, it would be to the point where when I left my house in the morning, and this is every single morning for almost a year, as I would back out of my driveway, one of the neighbors would back out of their driveway at the exact same time. And I thought, man, this is kind of odd uh, that the timing on this kind of odd, you know. And then it kept happening, kept happening, kept happening, and then I finally realized somebody is monitoring me inside my house. Through whatever way they have to monitor you in your house, whether it's uh, like the night vision goggles used to use in the military, something similar to that, where they can see you in real time, see your actual image through the house, or if they just know from your chip in your body where you are at in the house, and can listen to your conversations like, hey, I'm gonna go run pick up Bray, I'll be right back, or I'm gonna go to the store, or whatever. So they know when you're walking out of the house, you go to get in your car, somebody's sitting there. Like their job is to sit there and wait for you to back out. And their whole job is sitting there waiting and backing out at the exact same time for months and months and months. You know, then you back out and A lot of times there'd be like a dog walker or something going by, and people walk the dog in the neighborhood. That's normal, but they would be going by at the exact moment you either walk out the front door or you back out. When you're going down the street, what happens? Two or three cars just happen to back out at the exact same time that you're going down the street. Uh, and that happens, but not for months in a row, at the exact same time every time you go by. So, all right, I'm gonna have to get good at multitasking here and check out these comments. I really did not think that there would be this many people on here. That's pretty cool. I mean, there's 15 people right now. But okay, what's up from Seattle, Corbin? Hey, how you doing? Seattle, wow. SIS Security is based in Seattle, and the one of the only people that have come out to speak about this that have worked for the security companies is worked for that company. And there's a good video online. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it, but if not, I would check it out. SIS Security, putting gang stalking along with it, and the guy tells all kinds of information about what his actual job was. He trained these people to gang stalk. He wasn't part of the foot crew or the auto crews that go out and mob everybody, but he was part of the whole situation. He talks about remote neural monitoring. He talks about voice to skull. He talks about gang stalking. He talks about a lot of things, and he didn't hear about this from somebody on the internet. He was part of it, and it took him a long time to go ahead and become a whistleblower, but he couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't stand what was going on with people. But he talks about how a lot of homeless people were transported to Seattle and put into the DTSC, I think he called it, downtown. I can't remember the acronym for it, but a lot of people are taken to Seattle and experimented on by SIS Security Incorporated for this human experimentation project and slow kill list. Okay, so what's up from Seattle? Jer Riddle totally gave up, but I'm so glad someone is doing something about this. There's a lot of people doing something about this, and that's why I'm online. That's why I'm doing these live videos right now. If I hadn't been put in this situation, if I didn't know about this, I'd be gone. I'd be doing something else. I'd be out right now. Uh, I'd be on like the old guy fast pitch baseball team. I'd be out riding my mountain bike, taking my dog if the dog's leg hadn't been broken. Um, be doing a lot of stuff other than this, but maybe this is my calling. Maybe this is what I was supposed to do. There's a lot of people out there that need help, and I definitely have gotten help from other people. There's some people that have become my heroes in this. People like William Binney, uh, Karen Stewart, Dave Voigts, uh, Gerald Sosby. I mean, there's a big list. There's a big list of people that are really putting in the effort. The Ella Free show, she does a really good job. This is a lot of work to do this stuff, and I'm just trying to do it. I'm not comparing myself to them at all. I'm like way down here compared to what these people are actually doing for this. But I'm just trying to put everything I can into this to be part of it, to help all of you, to help myself, to stop what's wrong, and that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm gonna have to get better at this, being able to read these and go through them and respond to everything best I can. Do you have any Canadian hats? Oh yeah, I've got a ton of them. If you, man, this isn't a commercial for my store, but this is how I make my living. So I mean, if you buy hats, there's other stuff in there too. We have old black and white photos. I've got rid of a bunch of the art, but there's some other random stuff in there, some antiques, collectibles, stuff like that. But yes, I have a ton of Canadian hats. If you just look up Canada in the go to the store, go to the search, and search Canada. There's some right there in that stack under destination. Um, all these I put in order, and they're just by category, by type of hat. But yes, there are a bunch from Canada. Um, okay, someone's outside my time every time I leave. Yes, I totally understand that, and I feel sorry for those people that's their job. You know, to have to sit around and wait to stalk somebody. They have to wait to get a phone call or check their text, check their whatever application they use to track everybody. That's their job, just to sit down at the end of the street and wait for somebody to go, and then their job is to just go at the same time. How unfulfilling is that? I don't know. Maybe they don't care because they get their GS pay scale. Well, I need to keep up with these. Get back on the wagon, Jared. Don't let the harassment stop your business. I am doing everything I can. It's such a trip the way that they go after this thing. When I leave the house, I try not to leave the house. When I leave, I try to make sure my son's still here. Um, I hardly ever go anywhere. If I have to go to the post office, I jam to the post office real quick and I come home. But it doesn't, when your neighbors are involved and they possibly have a key to your house or a quick way to get in, all they need is like 5 minutes to come in, grab whatever. But one of the ways that they do harass my store, and I made a video about this earlier, and I'll probably go ahead and post that um, also. But they'll come in here while I'm gone, steal like 5 or 6, 10 hats. I don't know. It's hard to keep track. And then magically those hats will sell. And then I go to look through them. I go through all the, go through all the red ones here. Go through them like, wow, that one's missing. Where'd that go? I don't get it. And I'll go through every single. I've got snapbacks, strapbacks, Velcro backs, or hook and latch. I'm not supposed to call them back Velcro. It's a copyright thing. Had to take that word off of my eBay listings. But anyway, that's one of the ways that they try to take my store down. Steal things and then buy it from me, and then I get negative feedback, or I have to return the item, return the money. Takes time. I probably spend an hour, at least an hour a day, of doing nonsense stuff that is directed at my store to take it down, sabotage kind of stuff. And it goes on and on. I'll post that other video. It was kind of boring. I don't know. I talked about a little bit how to run this whole thing in case I do end up going to jail in a few months after I get through all this court stuff. You know, part of the reason I'm doing these videos is because I do have a little bit of knowledge. I have some good pointers on how to make it through some things, and I don't want that to go to waste. I know there's other people out there that could use some of this information, and I'm just trying to put out as much information as I can. Um, if I do go to jail, then they'll all still be here for people to pass around, do something positive, kind of like you know, the residual ripple effect kind of thing. Put my good information out there to help somebody else if I'm not around. If I do make it out of this, and like I should, and I get back to doing this, there's all kinds of changes that are going to be made, things that are going to be done differently. But I'm going to keep doing this and helping people as much as I can, while at the same time helping myself. The more I do this, the wiser I get, the more informed I get, and the more good people I meet, like you. I don't have any friends or family left. It's me and my kids here at the house. I'm in the middle of Arizona. I grew up in California. Uh, it's got to be through character assassination that I don't have any friends left, and that's so odd for me because I was friends with everybody. In high school, I didn't have a group that I didn't hang out with. Um, all right, let me get back to your comments here. But yeah, I appreciate you guys all being here. This is really cool. Um, I like to get messages from you guys. We're all just acquaintances, pretty much. We met online, but shoot, that's where I met my ex-wife. They have okay, Corbin Dallas. They have set me up for a long-term setup. Man, the the amount of time that can transpire before you realize that you're being set up for something is amazing. The way that these people, they've got to have such a huge network and such a long time to do this, because I've literally, and you probably might understand this too, but does sound crazy to anybody that's never been through this. They will foreshadow something for me. a little event will happen, a little skit will happen, and it'll be kind of like a hint that something's going to happen later. The 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 one that was the longest still blows my mind. It was some street theater that was carried out on me in sixth grade. Um, there was a. Should I even tell the story? Maybe I'll save that one for another time. But it involves the band Kiss. There was a kid at school that really liked this band Kiss. He always wore Kiss T-shirts, and unfortunately, oh man, I hate to even say this. I don't want the Kiss army coming after me, but they're into gang stalking. You know, all those guys are Israeli. Um, they are into gang stalking. But literally, the skit that happened when I was in sixth grade foreshadowed something that happened when I was, let's see, how long ago did I photograph Kiss in concert? I'd say that was about 7, 8 years ago now. 2014, I believe that was. No, that wasn't 7, 8 years ago. Let's see, 2013, 2014, so about 5 years ago. Is that right? It had to have been earlier. It's about 2012. I photographed Kiss in concert. Uh, that was a really cool show. Went backstage, met him. My friend's band was opening for him. They were called Shiver Fox, and but long story short, I didn't get that gig because of my connections and everything. I got that because it was part of a gang stalking skit. And I'll have to tell the whole story. It's pretty surreal. I've tried to save some of these stories because they sound so just hard to believe that it's tough to really tell some of these stories. And a lot of them are almost embarrassing. Not almost. Some of the stories are. They're intentionally made to be embarrassing, so you don't want to tell the story because you're saying something that happened to you. That's you got screwed over, you got duped, whatever, and you know something embarrassing might have happened to you. And I think that's part of the key to this is what did I just see up here? Part of the key to this is being able to just kind of have thick enough skin to say, you know what, screw it, I got to tell this embarrassing story. And the more people that will come out and say what's really going on, the law of large numbers is going to just put it out there that not everybody's crazy or just has some crazy story. These kind of things happen. People think like this and carry out these weird skits that take a long time, long setups. So, Corbin, I completely understand what you're saying. The long-term setup is one of the biggest. Is the long con. It's the long con. James, my neighbors, yeah. I sometimes I think everybody in this neighborhood but me is a perp. Um, they're watching 24/7 and reading thoughts. I I believe that 100%. It's That's another thing. It feels awkward. It's a little embarrassing, and you're afraid people are going to think you're crazy if you tell somebody that somehow somebody can read your thoughts. I'm trying not to cuss here. I'm doing my best to keep all my YouTube videos clean, but they can read your fucking thoughts. If you think something, you can have you can be thinking through something. I'll be thinking through something to do with my business, what to do with my kid's school, softball game, whatever you got going on. Somehow they will project to you that they knew what you were thinking about. And for a while I was thinking, nah, this is just a coincidence. There's, this ad popped up or whatever. I was thinking about, taking my dog for surgery or whatever the thought is that you're having. They can literally read your thoughts. And that's the first time I've admitted that on camera. Maybe that's why this is good for me to do this live because, I can just go ahead and say a couple things and not be able to take it back. Not go, should I load this video or not? But yeah, it's the remote neural monitoring is it's one of the things I kept saying when I was driving around when I realized what was really going on, what was really happening, and the technology that's being used in this. I'd just be driving around going, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. I've seen some shit. I've been traveled a lot. I've seen uh, a lot of things in the military. I've seen some really interesting things in my life. This program and the intricacy of the whole thing is really the most well managed, most covert, most strategic, high tech thing that I've ever seen. And that's one of the reasons I believe this is completely Department of Defense, military run. You know, um, my old commander used to say, do everything with laser precision. Be laser focused, laser focused. Um, and people use the term like that was done with military precision. This is this really is. This would only be possible. That and divine intervention. Did God, you know, I kept telling myself, okay, this is either God, only God could do something this massive and this calculated and this, I don't know, amazing. I hate to call this program amazing because it's such an evil thing, but it really is. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that, but it's. Oh, I'm starting to sweat. All right, I'm gonna move on here to Jared Ritter. Let's see, Me Too, My Neighbors. Yeah, The Neighbors. That's what I was last one I was talking about. Watching 24/7, reading thoughts. Rick James. Yeah, I keep a gun. Hey Rick, man, be okay. I am 100% a gun advocate. It's part of how I got myself in this situation even further. Speaking out about the Second Amendment, I was in Central California, and even though I was in the military, it's a lot of people that were in the military there are super liberal. You wouldn't think people in the military would be super liberal and hate guns and want to get rid of them. That's part of their job. They have guns. But man, I spoke out about that a lot, and I have been for a long time, and that's part of the reason they came after me. They knew I was carrying guns, uh, and uh, okay, but here, do this. If you do carry a firearm, I don't know if you guys, since you've been watching my video, you know that I'm looking at some prison time. A guy said that I pointed my gun at him, and that is considered aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Here in Arizona, they have a mandatory minimum sentence of 5 years, so I can do 5 to 15 years if I get convicted of doing this. Thankfully, I have some video of the situation. I can't really talk about it much more than that because I was told not to by my attorney. But if you do keep a gun, go to there's a guy named Mark Victor, Mark J. Victor, Victor, and he's got some videos on YouTube. But there are gun laws that will creep up on you, and you think you're doing everything perfectly legal, and it turns out you're not. And they can use one of these technicalities to throw your butt in jail. And that's what they're using a lot to put Second Amendment advocates away. They're like, okay, you're going to go ahead and advocate for gun freedom, and you want to carry a firearm. We're going to use one of these laws that we're not going to enforce on a lot of other people. But since you're so vocal about this, we're going to find a way to get you to break one of these laws. And it can be really, really simple, something that you would never think of. So look that guy up, and maybe check out one of those books about gun laws and stuff like that, because having one, carrying one, it depends, different every state. Here in Arizona, it's constitutional carry. You don't need permission from your state to carry a firearm. It seems really, really free here, but there's a lot of loopholes in there that you can fall through and find yourself in a lot of trouble. And I just highly recommend that. But good, I'm glad you carry a gun or keep a gun. You should. Everybody should. Um, I'm going to stop with that right now, but I'm thankful to hear that. People try to hit you with cars when walking, and neighbors. That's a game they play. Oh yeah, Yeah. One day they actually hit me. I was over in Surprise. My wife was home. She got dressed up all pretty before I left. Who knows what's up with that? But I went over to Surprise to go. Yeah, it's like 20 minutes from here. Go run some errands, and I was came up the stop sign. There's a T. There's a lady sitting right here in a car. I looked over her. There were some kids over on the side on scooters right there. They were just waiting, so she had an excuse why she didn't see me. And I took off, and she just floored it, plowed right into my door, broke my front wheel off. It broke the. I replaced it myself. I can't think of what it's called. The tie rod ends. Broke the tie rod end right off. My tires broken. Yeah. So I was stuck there, and then she kept repeating to me that she goes to the Catholic Church. I go to the. I'm with the Catholic Church. I'm with the Catholic Church. So I don't know if it was the Catholic Church coming after me, or if she was just trying to divert me, get me to think it was somebody else. She's part of one of these security companies. I don't know. Paid gang stalker. But yeah, they don't always just pretend to hit you. Sometimes they just go ahead and do it. And then after you get hit and you've been traumatized by that car accident, that's when they keep going with it. Keep going with it. Every stop sign you go up to, have a car hauling ass up, slam on the brakes right when you're going by, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get hit again. Nope, okay, nope, nope. And over time, it builds up, builds up. Same time, exit and enter, absolutely. That hasn't. It's quit happening. Just like I said, the last month and a half after I got arrested, it was still I was still going through the motions like that. You know, people leaving at the exact same time. Right when I pull up to the house, somebody's pulling in. Right when I go into a store, somebody's trying to walk in at the exact same time. You got to hold the door open for them, or they hold it open for you, or which is fine. I like holding the door open for people. It's not a big deal, but just the fact that they are taking so much time and spending so much focus on you to have somebody leave at the same time, show up at the same time, get to the door at the same time. It's so odd. Even when you talk about it, I feel weird even talking about it, but it happens, and you that are listening to me completely understand that, because after the 20th, 30th time, you're like, there's no way in hell this could be happening. There's no way in hell that I've left my house and the last 100 times somebody has left the house at the exact same time as me. Uh, you know, so that gets you in that state of I'm always being watched. I'm always being monitored. And then you try to explain it to somebody, and then they have their standard answer, dumbass answer. What makes you so special? Nothing. I'm under the fake domestic terrorist watch list under FISA, Section 702 or 12333. And then you start explaining to them, and they're like, oh, I gotta go do this or whatever. Don't ask if you don't want the answer. So, but a lot of times what they're hoping is that you're going to be dumb enough to not know the answer, and then you're just going to go, "Oh yeah, you're right. I don't know what makes me so special. I don't know." But we've got this figured out. We know what's happening. We know where a lot of this is coming from, and thanks to social media and this kind of stuff, yeah, the word's coming out. Let's see here. Good thinking, Rick. In Canada, it's best to stay home with your guns, but works for me. Yeah, in Canada, I didn't even think you guys had guns there at all. I watched a documentary about guns in Canada. And you guys have guns, you just have a lot stricter laws. And yeah, you definitely can't be running around with a gun like you can here in Arizona. I see, it's kind of funny. I see people, I see people driving down the road here sometimes on a motorcycle, no helmet, cigarette in their mouth, open carrying a big old 357 or something like that. They're just like, "Welcome to America. I'm free." And I don't recommend driving down the freeway with no helmet and smoke in your mouth. I don't know. You can carry a gun, yeah, that's fine. But it's just not safe. But seeing that that's the legal here to do pretty much what you want. Hey man, that's awesome. Uh, Gina, hi Gina, how you doing? I'm a little delayed on some of these. Again, I'm just testing this out, talking to people live. It's been a while since I've spoken in front of anybody, in front of a live audience. Why did they take your picture? I have seen that happen to me. You look at them, then they turn away. Uh, okay, here's my thought on why they take your picture. I think that they always want a current photo of what you look like. So if you've grown out a beard, or if you've cut your hair, if you're not wearing your glasses, you know, you have on some disguise or something like that. They have a photo of you, and I don't know. It might be kind of like Pokemon Go too. They might, if they get a current photo of you and they upload it to the FBI website that they're linked to, or the CIA website, whoever signs their paperwork, their paycheck, and all that. I think if they get some video, because I've seen them taking video of me too. A lot of times they'll put their camera in their shirt pocket right here, and they'll be in the grocery store, and they're obviously, you know, they got their cart right here, and then they're turning, like aiming their chest at you, you know, just super awkward. Like nobody would actually do that. Nobody would do that. And then again, after the 20th, 30th time, you're like, okay, these people are videotaping me. What's up with this? Or taking my picture. You know, guy at a baseball game was doing it the other day. He thought he was being pretty slick, but I caught him. I caught him filming me. And you know, if I was a celebrity, I would get it. People love celebrities. I heard a guy talking about the, the baseball game. I was talking to one of the kids on the team, talking to her dad, and he was talking about the Dodgers. Man, he was talking about the Dodgers like they were saints. And he saw Tommy Lasorda, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I got my camera out. I got my picture of Tommy Lasorda." And you know, I get that. I get that. People have heroes. People have idols and stuff like that. But who the hell are we? I mean, I'm sure we're all important. We're all excuse me. You know, we're all good people, but we're not celebrities. And there's a few of you out there that might be a celebrity, but there's no reason to be taking photos of us in the grocery store or at the auto parts store, or whatever. So, but it's basically, I think it is to have a current photo or video of what you look like. So they're always updated with new information. Your file is updated every day. They can get a photo of you and go into that file, and they can see what your last known photo was. That, and I don't know if some of us end up on websites, maybe on the dark web. I've had conversations with some people that I actually spoke on the phone, a couple people. Uh, and I'm sorry, I'm getting sidetracked. I see a bunch of messages popping up. 30 people. Whoa! This is like giving a class at the guard base when I used to do classes in front of 30, 40 people. Only I like all you people. I like talking to all you people. This is really cool. Anyway, yeah, some of the photos, some of the video can be used for, you know, people watch all kinds of stuff online. They watch people working, they watch people do it, you know, we watch videos on YouTube, stuff like that. There could be some private illegal channel where people can go to and they can just watch what targeted individuals are doing. You know, you've got cameras all throughout your house. They have pinhole cameras that you can't even, it's like the tip of a ballpoint pen. That's how small some of those are. They could stick it in a nail hole that you had from uh, putting up a picture up on the wall. You know, they could stick it in one of those. They could put that stuff anywhere. They use them in counter drug. In Central California, when they'd go up and they'd stake out big pot farms that the cartel were running. You know, they they would go up in the Sierra National Forest, and the counter drug enforcement guys would go out and they'd do their recon, and they put these tiny little pinhole things in the cameras in the trees, and they'd be able to monitor what was going on before they went in and did their bust, which I was never a fan of because well, not busting the cartel, but I don't like that they're tearing down pot farms. You know, that's one of the things that's helping with opioids. I won't even go off on that tangent right now, but all right, Mike G, yeah man. What did he take your picture? Your grandfather was a 33rd degree Mason. Okay, so I can say a little bit of something about Masons. I kept seeing all of these symbols. I kept noticing all the triangles, the number 32, the number 33. They were contacting me in different ways. Like I got home one day and there was a movie sitting on my front entrance on the counter that said The Craft. And so I researched everything that shows up. I'm like, the craft. What's the craft? The craft is what they call Freemasonry. Um, and I got the Freemasonry for Dummies book. I got some other different books. I found at garage sales about Freemasonry. I found old pins, lapel pins, and stuff like that, and I would research those, look them up. I even have a couple things that are on eBay from a box of stuff I had. So when I was here in Arizona, in Avondale, they have the Acacia Lodge, and that's the local Freemasonry lodge. So I messaged they call them the Worshipful Master. I got on their website. You can get on any lodge website and check out their information. And I was like, it's probably like the Elks Club or the whatever. Because when you read about it, it never says, here's who we are, here's what we do. It's just all of this. I just pick up a book about Freemasonry and start reading, and you're like, what are they talking about? But I did learn while I was there, because I would go. They meet on Tuesday nights, and I would go in, and when you go to a Masonic lodge, they're trying to figure you out, see who you are, see if you are the right for the lodge, and hopefully, if you're trying to go do something like that, you're trying to figure them out too. Well, we never really connected. I never really connected with anybody, and I never got any solid information. It was like going to one of those pyramid scheme infomercial kind of things where your buddy you haven't talked to in 10 years calls you up and like, hey man, I wanted to catch up. You want to meet me over at the Holiday Inn meeting room at whatever night? I'm doing this thing. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll go check it out. Next thing you know, they're trying to rope you into something you don't even have any information about. Trust me, it's good. It's good. So that's kind of how I felt. But I did learn a little bit about it while I was there. They call Mason lodges blue lodges. There are only 3 degrees of Masonry, actually. There's your first degree, apprentice, second, I can't remember what the second is, but third degree is Master Mason, and you can only make it to third degree. That's the highest degree of Masonry you can get in a Blue Lodge. But there are appendages outside of that. So they have like the Royal Arch. There's a bunch of different other things. The Shriners, you can't be a Shriner without being a Mason. You have to be a Mason first. But then there is the 32nd degree and 33rd degree, which isn't a Blue Lodge degree. It's a higher degree. Knights Templar. The guy here was a 33rd degree Knights Templar Freemason. And yeah, he was the Worshipful Master, which I thought was an odd name for that. But I'm pretty damn sure, unfortunately, are part of this whole thing, part of the gang stalking. And I wouldn't think that if it was in your family that that you would end up getting gang stalked, but maybe because if you didn't make it into the Masons or get into some kind of cult like that, uh, maybe you're not worthy. They think you're not worthy or something like that. I don't know. But James, we all have to stick together. That's damn straight. If if all of us that are going through this don't stick together and form a group, stay in contact with each other, keep getting information out, it'll never happen. The lone wolf thing doesn't work. I've been trying it my whole life, and you have to rely on other people, and you have to trust other people, even if all your trust is gone. And mine is so shot. It's some people that I would have died for. Turned out they were long time perps. But that doesn't mean that I don't still have hope in people, that there's good people out there that I can trust in and confide in, talk to. I know you're out there. Some of you are watching right now. Okay. Dee's House of Dank. I turned down Freemasonry. Turned Freemasonry down back in the military. Then all the bullshit started. So yeah, they say that you have to be chosen to be a Freemason. So even a lot of the people that go to the lodge that pursue it, they weren't chosen. So you're wasting your time. You're already blackballed. But then if you keep showing interest in it, then they We'll start the bullshit. Yeah, that's that's interesting. You so D, were you approached by somebody and they said, "Hey, we think you'd be a good Freemason. Will you join our lodge or will you come check it out?" Tell me about that. I'm kind of interested about that. Uh, what about you? Okay, Mike G. I don't feel stuck. Let's see how far. Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm trying to keep up with all these, but you guys are helping me with some topics that I can talk about. So thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, I'm still going through some of this here. I lost my place. Man, you guys been leaving a lot of messages here. Holy moly. Wow. Okay. All right. There's no way I'm going to be able to go over all these, so I'm just going to kind of scan through some of them. This is. I really thought there'd be like two or three people on here. What in the world? Let's see. All right. Okay. Here we go. Found my spot. Do not anymore. Last year we tried to figure out how we were being remotely monitored. Um, did you ever figure out how you were being remotely monitored? There's a lot of explanations to that now. Most likely the RFID chip that's been implanted in your body. If you've ever had a surgery, if you've ever had a flu shot, turns out most of the people that have been given the flu shot have a millimeter-sized nanotech in their body, in their shoulder, where they got that. Check out. Okay, there's a guy in Sacramento named Jesse Beltran, Jesse Beltran. He's working with John Hall right now. They're communicating back and forth, but they're working on a bunch of statistics. And this guy scans people. Um, he's the head of some organization, ICAT. I can't remember what that is exactly, but Jesse Beltran. He has a couple pretty good videos on YouTube also explaining the RFID chips, who's implanted, how they've been implanted, what some of the statistics are, and they're getting more into bigger statistics, which is really good for all of us. But they have some good information on that. Dustin, you're my hero. I know you're not talking to me, man. Somebody else posted on here. I'm nobody's hero. I'm just a dude. Um, but that being said, I just called some other people heroes that probably don't think they are either. I don't know. That's not what I'm going for. I appreciate it. Some of you people on here are my heroes. Uh, yeah, I guess I'm contradicting myself. That's not me. Hi all. Hey Charles, how you doing, man? Charles Hall. The police know not to mess with me like they have before. Oh, well, that's good. Hey, if you can get them to flick them off. I'm so tempted sometimes. But even though I know that the police are 100% involved in this, I still don't think everybody in the entire department is in on it. There's got to be a few guys. There's got to be a few guys that aren't in on the gig. You know that they drive. They're with their partner or whatever. They drive somebody by somebody, and the guy hits the sirens and the lights. The guy in the passenger seat is probably like, "What are you doing, bro? The hell's your what are you hitting light sirens for? But then again, I could be completely wrong. And man, yeah, I would like to do that a couple times, especially when I notice one that, like I saw that lady that I did the video about that I posted on YouTube. I saw her on the side of the road the other day. I wanted to pull over and just tell her to fuck off. But that clearly would not be the best thing for me, especially in the legal situation that I'm in right now. That's part of the reason I'm trying to stay around my house. Cleveland Indians hats. Yes, Gina. I have a ton of Cleveland Indian hats. The spring training is going on right now. Here in Phoenix, there are 16 different stadiums here in Phoenix for spring training, and for 6 weeks we've got baseball everywhere. So about 3 blocks that way is Goodyear Park, Goodyear Baseball Park, and the Cleveland Indians and the Cincinnati Reds play there. I've been to, I don't know, 4 or 5 games there now. Not this year. I haven't been to a game yet. I've been sticking around the house. Maybe that's something I need to do. Maybe I need to go to the baseball game. But Dodgers and the White Sox play over in Glendale. Giants play over in Scottsdale. I mean, there's everywhere around here is a. But yes, I probably have. I'd say I'd have like 40 or 50 Cleveland Indian hats. If you go to the store and just search that. Hi Sylvia, how's it going? Jared Ritter, really? I'm okay. I'm lost to some of that. Can't go get a beer and wings. Yeah, no. I quit drinking. I never thought that I would quit drinking. I haven't drank since before January. It wasn't even like a New Year's resolution or anything. I just decided I've had 42 years of my liver going through that, and I don't know. I just thought it would be the best thing for me if I need, somebody's like, hey, I need a ride. I can actually get in the car and go somewhere, pick somebody up, not have to worry about having any kind of alcohol in me. I actually have felt better since then. It's until about a month and a half ago. Um, Rick, my own mother lies. And my mom has lied to me and gaslit me my entire life. I didn't know what gaslighting was, but yeah, but it's weird. She will just do kind of like, well, she worked for the government her whole life, so this makes sense. But how the government has the problem, reaction, solution paradigm. It's like, I know that you're going to need help with something after I screw this up for you. So I'm going to pretend to be helping, but I'm going to make sure that it gets screwed up, and then you're going to have to come for me for help, and then you're going to be so thankful that I helped you out. Well, eventually I caught on to the whole cycle, and I figured out that a lot of times when somebody wants you to be under their control, under their power, they will pretend to help you. Kind of like when the government hands out free stuff. It's not always free. You're going to pay for it in the long run. It's a lot of times the setup, the best thing to do. Um, and not every situation. There's some people that are genuinely trying to help. But when you kind of catch on to somebody's operating procedure, how they do that, you watch out. They say there's no such thing as a free lunch. Charles, nobody's watching you. My brother called the cops. Yeah, people will call the cops on you in a second. Okay, I'll put my store link in the description box. I need to go to my let's see. I'll try to do that before I get off here. Yeah, when you're driving, sometimes Rick James, you said you can't ignore him. Try and run me off the road. When people try to say, just ignore it, just ignore him, it's impossible sometimes. When there's a big rig trying to run you off the road, you can't ignore it. They're trying to kill you. You can't just be like, oh, silly people. I mean, they're going after your life. You got to do something about that. Rick James the robot. Rick James, I swear. Um, People have physically assaulted me and my wife. When that crap started going on, I said, that's enough. Yeah, man, when people start physically assaulting you. I've never been physically assaulted. I think because they know that I will kick the shit out of somebody. I am, I don't know. I just have the, yeah, see, this is live. I shouldn't have said that live. Uh, I had to learn, as probably some of you did, I had to learn to stand up for myself and fight back when I was in sixth grade. I started getting picked on, I started getting beat up, and I decided that's not going to happen anymore. People started picking fights with me, and I wasn't losing anymore. I decided I'm not losing a fight again, ever again. And it's a long time until I did, until I got hit in the face with a beer bottle at a place on my 21st birthday. I actually ended up going to the hospital. I didn't win that one. But yeah, through this whole gang stalking thing, nobody has tried to start a physical altercation with me. Probably because they monitor you, they know everything about you, and they knew that I usually would always have a carry with me, carry firearm. I'd always carry one in the small of my back here. Don't do that anymore. Do that, but they also knew that I don't care. I don't care if you are The Rock, Dwayne Rock Johnson. If you're gonna pick on me, I might lose, but I'm not gonna back down. Um, so maybe that has something to do with that. It's hard to leave. They know when you leave and when you're on your way back. And say, yeah, definitely. And I don't know about some of you guys, but Gina, I'm reading your comment here. Um, do a lot of you, when you get home, is there a car pulling away from your house right when you get home? It's like they park in front of your house, and I don't know. I mean, I know the people have broken into my house. They've been in here before when I'm gone, but it's like they have a car. Go to your house and just wait outside, and then right as you're pulling up, they're just pulling away from your house. Or right as you're leaving, they're pulling up to your house to make you feel like, oh man, I'd circle back around sometimes and just say, hey, is that car parked in front of my house? Yep, they do that all the time. Am I what that I am? Let's see, Charles Hall. Am I what that I'm going to jail? DMSUTE? I don't know what you're saying. Dustin says, I'm not going to jail. Man, I sure as hell hope not, but as far as the history of what's been going on and seeing how unfairly they treat you and how much bullshit they come up with, they just fabricate everything, dump it on you, and then let you deal with it. And I was surprised I even got arrested. You know, this guy just said that I pointed a gun at him. Think you can arrest somebody for that? Um, and I have the guy holding the gun out the window. I shouldn't be talking about this case, but on my video, I got video of that guy holding a gun out of his window. He said he never did that, so that just shows right there. Um, your ex thinks it's the feds too. Well, you know, I think it's a mix of the feds, and organized crime. Somehow they've merged. Well, I mean, they are organized crime, but somehow they've merged. They've made contacts through the feds. They would investigate people in organized crime, and when they investigate these people and they are working undercover, I'm sure they get to know some of them, and they make relationships, and then they say, hey, you know what? We could work together. We could do this. And when you got people with mass amounts of money, with the federal government, organized crime, and those two link up together, oh boy, um, bad news. I'm under the impression that's what happened, but that's a lot of the people that are going down right now. People are being fired from the FBI. That people are going to start talking. People are going to. This is going to come out eventually, like everything did. You know, everything has. JFK. We know what happened to JFK now. The documents have been released. Um, this is all fake. Jared Ritter. I don't know what you mean. What's all fake? Claim lawyers don't do much. Come with some stupid thing. They are all over it. Carry plenty of nails and screws with you on the road. Man, it's so tempting to do some stuff like that, but they are waiting for you. They're just waiting for you to do something like that. And any little thing you do, the microscope is on you. I, that's like sounds fun to do, and it'd be great revenge, but I don't recommend that. All right. Well, if somebody's a robot on here, if somebody's just posting something like that, something to get everybody's attention, don't respond to it. All it's doing is taking away from the conversation. Just ignore it. Demonic forces, man. I can't take that into court with me, but sometimes, yeah, seems like good and evil, battle for good and evil. Sounds like the story of the Bible is being carried out. Catholic Church is run by Jesuits, Freemasons. Yeah, yeah, yep. I mean, the Vatican's like its own country. It's got its own rules. Got tunnels going underneath it. Got a lot of stuff. I spoke out about that. Talked about how the Catholic Church is a bunch of pedophiles. I was in the military on my social media. Um, and I don't think they all are. If some of you might listen to Jerome Corsi, I've talked about him a couple times. He's Catholic. The guy's one of my heroes. Um, make it hard to get jobs. Yeah. Yep. Or keep a job. A lot of times, well, in my experience, I've been given opportunities for jobs. I think with the intent just to let me think I was getting somewhere and then pull the rug out from under me, just as part of the trauma-based mind control. Like, yep, you made it this long, but guess what? We never had the intent of keeping you. I'm probably way behind on these comments. Yeah, I don't know how long I've been on here. Oh, my phone has about 10% left. So if it dies, I think that'll just be the end of the video. And I'll charge it, and maybe I'll try this again tomorrow. But I like all you guys' comments here. Corbin Dallas. I'm from Cali. They funneled me to Seattle, hired me at a fake job to drain me of my income. Where did you get your fake job? And I asked that because SIS Security would take these people to Seattle. They put them on a Greyhound bus, take them to Seattle, and then give them a job as a security guard in SIS Incorporated, and then they would experiment on their own damn employees. And this is coming from one of the employees that was in management for this company. There's a few other companies. There's SIS. I think it was SIAC. I'm not sure. But there's another security company that has personally harassed me called Securitas. They're based in the Netherlands somewhere, and they have 300,000 employees all over the United States. A lot of those, I'm pretty sure, are gang stalker type people. But they did harass me with my eBay store. They got me shut down for a week illegally. I contacted their legal department. They were like, "Oh yeah, we just made a mistake," and they abused they abused some of the policies with eBay and figured out how to shut my store down for a week. And they were really surprised when I contacted their lawyers personally. Yeah, I'm really curious to hear about what job you did in Seattle. Brain mapping. Lucky me, I do not believe they can read thoughts. Yeah, that's fine if you think that. And maybe okay, maybe they can't actually read your thoughts, but maybe through the artificial intelligence or through some kind of algorithm, they have predictive software where they can predict what you're going to be thinking about because of something that happened to you. So where It's like a magic trick. A lot of this is like a magic trick. It's sleight of hand, smoke and mirrors, and getting you to think that something's happening that might not actually be happening. Um, so maybe that's what it is. They can predict a lot of things and make you feel like they can read your mind, and they can't actually read your mind. But at the same time, if they can insert dreams into people's sleep, I mean, I don't know. Some of the stuff they can do is really amazing. I hate to use that word for it because it's such a shitty thing, but some of the stuff they can do is really uh, high tech. Let's see, Goldstone. How do I get the notarized letters from the experts? The okay, there's a website. Here, let me try to go to it real quick. Stop007.com or .org. Stop007.org. There is a link that I believe it was Kathleen Horton did, but there's 4 or 5 uh, sworn affidavits on there you can download, and you would have to contact the people in person. Maybe send it to them, self-addressed, stamped envelope, return, see if they'd actually sign it. But right there, stop007.org. There's a somewhere in there, and if you go to Kathleen Horton's Facebook page and message her, ask her about the affidavits, they're in there, and I've got it saved in my bookmarks here, but I'm going to try to finish going through these comments. I hope that answered your question, Golden Stone. Finally, no way to contact you. Hmm? Oh yeah, yeah, I have some trolls. I've gotten better at ignoring the trolls. And like Kevin Ship said, Kevin Ship with the CIA, he posted something the other night and said, heavy trolling on the YouTube videos. You must be doing something right. Yeah, if you're putting out a bunch of junk information and you're just sounding like a crazy person, and you're not representing the TI community very well, I don't think they're going to troll you very much. They're just going to give you enough rope to hang yourself. Let them keep going. Let them keep going. But if you're doing something right and you're putting out positive information, you're helping other people, you're helping yourself, you're shedding light on this whole subject, they're going to troll the shit out of you. They're going to do everything they can to antagonize you to stop. Um, so take that as a compliment from the dark side, basically, like, ooh, we don't like what you're doing. We're going to come after you. It's like anything in life. Uh, Going after the winner, usually, whoever's on top, that's who everybody's aimed at. The guy that's in first place in the race, everybody's trying to pass that guy. Used to catch people messing with my truck all the time. If you confront them, they act stupid and get you attacked by cops. Yeah, they're messing with your things. And then one of the biggest things that these people do is doing something to you and then blaming you for what they did. It's part of gaslighting. I'm real Donald Trump spoke 2 days ago. Hmm. It's unfathomable technology. Yes, it is. It's even though I've been studying this for a year, I still have a hard time wrapping my mind around how intense, how intricate this whole thing is. Yeah, just I don't tell my family that someone can read my thoughts. I don't even believe they don't even believe me about the following and noise campaign. Yeah, it it so a rational person would have a hard time believing this because they're not going to think like the psychopathic narcissist. They're not going to think that somebody would be capable of doing this, would want to do it. Why would they want to do it? What's the point? Why would they go out of their way to spend all this money on you? You know, and that's good that it's hard for people to understand that's going on, because it means there's still some rational thinking people out there. But they need to, what they need to do is to understand how some other people think. Not everybody thinks like them. Some other people are evil bastards, and they do this kind of stuff to us. I finally got my mom to believe it, but I had to present her with some information that can't go, like these written affidavits from people from the NSA and the FBI and CIA, videos. I sat her down and I made her watch the SIS security video, uh, where the guy explains what went down when he was working for SIS, and she was helping me with some taxes, helping me, and we're going to work on something. And I said, okay, before we sit down, because anytime I try to talk about this, it just starts a fight. Okay, I have 10% left on this battery, so I'm just going to let that go until it ends. And if I can't get to your comment on here, I'm sorry. I'm doing the best I can. This is, like I said, this is my first one, so I'll try to figure out something so I can get to more comments. Um, but anyway, I sat her down, I sat down with her, and I said, okay, you are watching this video, and if you don't want to watch it, you can go home. You can go back to Minnesota, because this is the most important thing in my life right now. You don't believe me this is going on. You need to understand what's going on. And this person actually worked for this company that was involved in this, and explains it very well. And if you watch this video and you still tell me that you don't believe this is going on, we don't need to talk anymore, because you're clearly involved and you're playing stupid. You're taking part in active denial, and I don't want anything to do with you anymore. So, but I showed her that video, and she, I said, "How do you feel about that?" She goes, it makes me depressed to know that that's going on." I said, "Well, yeah, it should. It should. You know what? I'll tell you what. Maybe I don't feel like ending this video yet. I'm gonna grab my charger and go plug it in. So I don't know. While I'm going looking for that, maybe you can check out the hats or something. I'll be right back. All right, I'm gonna try to get by here without knocking this thing off. We've got a little rig setup here to film. It's real high tech. All right. And it's kind of cool. It's like hanging out with a bunch of friends. I wish some of you people would come over to the house and hang out. It'd be fun. Snap this, not easy. I hope you have many, many copies of that tape. Yeah, actually, I do. And there are copies somewhere else also. So I talked about a redundant backup system with all your evidence, with all your documents that you have. Print everything out, put everything on a disk, hide the disk somewhere, put it on a hard drive, put it on another hard drive, put it on a computer, put it on another computer. When So if that file becomes corrupt, like I've had other files become corrupt just out of nowhere, uh, you've got a backup. So yes, I do. There's like 6 or 7 of them. Yep. You need to present logical evidence. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because even if, okay, and I'm not saying that this isn't happening, but there's a theory that there's reptilians running the planet. There's a theory that um, this is 100% spiritual. This is God and the devil fighting back and forth. even if that was exactly what's going on, and there's these demonic entities and God are fighting back and forth, and all of the and reptilians are underneath the ground, and there's all of these science fiction kind of explanations. Even if that's right, you cannot walk into court and tell them that. If you have proof, if you know a reptilian, if you've talked to God, if you've, I'm just saying, if you know this for sure, but you're the only one, or there's only 1,000 people that have this information, you try to walk into court and try to explain that, you're going to a mental facility. You're going to get locked up. It's just the world's not ready for that kind of stuff. That's why they call everything a conspiracy theory. It's part of what they do. So even if you have some information that sounds out there, you have to stick with things that people will understand, that 12 jurors will understand, that you can actually get your point across to them. Um, yeah, setting up the cameras at the house and in the house. The people that are doing this are so good that they can get pat. That you buy a surveillance system at Costco, you're not you're not doing anything. They can shut that thing down. They have a contract, I'm sure, with a lot of these security companies where they can get the code. I've got home. I had cameras up here in my hats to try to catch who was stealing the hats. I come home, and there'd just be a blank spot in my video, just dark. Just go to dark. Just all of a sudden turn off, for 5-10 minutes, and then turns back on. I'm like, funny, I didn't turn that thing off remotely. I wonder what happened there. They can get by that stuff. I don't know. It wouldn't hurt to have cameras in your house. I just they weren't working for me. Yeah, if you're a targeted individual and your lawyer doesn't have your best interest, be careful. Every single lawyer, I think, has a national security letter. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I would have been better off defending myself, but we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how it works out. Let's see. Helen Singh 12. I'm a designer. Does anyone have Michael Barden's phone number? I would like to see if I can make a donation to him. Wow, that'd be awesome. I'm not asking for handouts, but that would be really appreciated. Um, Comment on this video. I'll private message you my phone number, and it'd be cool to talk to a designer. Got a lot of good ideas. If they touch you, that's that problem. Kill them with kindness. Hey, yeah, that that works. Some of these people hate when you're friendly to them. Start a conversation with them. Ask them how their day's going, but genuinely care. It's so hard to care about somebody you hate, somebody that's stalking you, but genuinely care about them. Like I'll start a conversation with somebody and ask them about some of their personal business. How's your day going today? Everything going good? How's life? You know, and they get so perplexed. Some of them will actually just start a conversation with you, and it's like they can't help themselves. Like somebody's being nice to me. Somebody cares about my personal information. That they're not trying to get over on me. They're, you know, and then some of them it just infuriates them. They'll start sweating, start just turning red. They're not getting to you, and it's hard not to laugh or feel like you won. But that does work a lot. Yep, takedown program, jail, mental institutions, death. Yep, and pharmaceuticals. Absolutely, absolutely. Lucky me. Yep, noise campaigns. D. It's uh, it's such an odd thing to experience. What do I think about the worldwide chemtrailing program? I know that chemtrails were not around when I was a kid. I used to watch airplanes fly over my head every single day. I grew up next to Edwards Air Force Base in the Mojave Desert. Uh, between Central California and Southern California. It's right across the 14, 405, 14 from Los Angeles, right out there. I watched airplanes fly over my whole life. Um, and then I mean, I was in the Air Force 15 years. I was a crash fire rescue firefighter. I have always been paying attention to the sky as long as I can remember. Chemtrails did not start until recently. When I say recently, not in the last couple of years, but they've been going on for a while. They come out of KC 135s, KC 10s, possibly, but I've been in a KC 135 in the air, sat in the flight deck on my birthday one time coming back from the Middle East. I'm aware of what they can put in those and what they can do with them. And I've also found some patches from Tinker Air Force Base that have the plane with the chemtrail coming out the side, but the chemtrail stays in the air and then it dissipates and changes. And they make, I mean, come on, how much more obvious can they make it? They're making like pentagrams out of them or like drawing X's in the sky, do all that stuff. And it's through all of my research and what makes sense to me too. There's a couple different things I think it could be. Global warming. There's more and more people on the Earth. If you put more and more people in an elevator, it warms up, right? If you have more and more people on the Earth, we have an atmosphere around us. It's going to start warming up the atmosphere if there's that many people. That's just one theory. So they could be flying over, making cloud cover to cool it down for us because the Earth is heating up and they don't want it to be 140 degrees in Phoenix that day. That could be one thing, or it could have to do with the nanotechnology. All of those, all of the metal, the tiny little pieces of metal or whatever it is, the barium. I forget what is in the chemtrails, but they can be coming down. Everybody's breathing that in, and somehow it's going all over in your body, and somehow how that can connect electronically through satellites or something like that, and they can monitor people without chipping them, or maybe there's poison in it to kill everybody off, part of Agenda 21. I'm not sure, but those are just ideas that I have about that. But there are 100% difference between chemtrails and contrails. And if anybody tries to tell you any different, they know about it, or they just want to be right. But they are two different things. Mary Kinnear, you speak very well, Mike. It's made you a journalist now. I thank you. I appreciate that. But I literally was a journalist in the Air Force for 10 years. I went to the Defense Information School at Fort Meade, Maryland, and I went to voice training school. I went to journalism school, not writing journalism, but multimedia journalism, so photo, video, and broadcast journalism. When I would get deployed somewhere, go on a TDY, tour date, year, I think was the acronym, what it's called, but basically when I'd go somewhere, part of my job was to take a big old camera with me, take my microphone, take some other recording devices, take notes, go interview whoever's in charge, the colonel, the general, ask them some questions, put together a small news piece, a minute and a half, or sometimes I even would do a documentary. I did a 30-minute documentary one time on some training we did at Edwards Air Force Base, security forces. And I should be at least decent at this. If all of the training that I've gone through to speak in front of the camera, I actually should be doing a better job. I should have better lighting. I should be more focused. I should have better notes. But if I'm not good at this, I need to pick something else to be doing. Thankfully, I had that training, and that helps with this. But I thank you. I appreciate that. Man, a lot of people commenting. Society's byproduct. They have some scary amount of information. I was a very active young man, and the last experiment they did on me, they were talking about my sex, my promiscuous nature 15 years ago. Yeah. So they're going to take any information about you that could possibly embarrass you or just, people like to have a private life. You don't want people to know what's going on in your bedroom. That's your private, like you have your own things to yourself. So when they let you know that what you're doing in your bedroom, or they let you know that they're just watching you, it's just to make you feel uneasy and to basically be negative about anything you're going to do. So if you, no matter what you do, they're going to say something negative about it. If, yeah, I don't want to go into that. Atman, yeah? Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. I'm just reading through some of your comments. Final Fantasy, I love y'all. Please sign the petition to investigate the FISA abuse. Yes, thank you for mentioning that. I appreciate that. Uh, there's like 200, last time I checked, there was like 270, 280 signatures, which is, they're not even going to be close to getting 100,000. But the more people that sign that, the more people will see it. Um, so check that out. I actually wrote that and submitted that to the White House webpage. I wasn't going to say anything, but whatever, what the hell. Are there Masons having sex orgies? Oh, are the Masons having sex orgies? Yeah, I think so. I think so. I'm sorry to say I was never invited to one of those. See, I don't have anything wrong with adults having sex and doing what they want, being open. Um, of course, I wouldn't want to be in a room full of guys. I'd rather it be women. But no, never invited to one of those. But yeah, I really do think that they are. They like the movie Eyes Wide Shut with the masks and all the ritual stuff like that. They get together and just go at it. I believe my ex-wife was involved. I think she was Order of the Easter Star or some kind of cult, and she had one of those masks hung up on her wall and some other things that were kind of telling, and she would disappear at night. That's a whole nother story. Morals Dogma says clear date. Lucifer, regard. Morals and Dogma. I haven't checked that out. Is that a pretty good book so far? Some horse-looking lady from Homeland Security, Twilight Zone type shit. Wait until you figure out.